Hey Farmington, Fred here. I'm doing my part to help the environment by recycling. But it's difficult to stay current on what items are accepted at our recycling facilities. Farmington has single stream recycling. While this makes it convenient to collect recyclables in a single container, it does require all those materials to get separated so they can actually be recycled. Once collected, Farmington's materials are hauled to Recycle Minnesota for processing. Being the curious person that I am, I headed to the Recycle Minnesota facility to learn more about recycling. The first thing I learned was that the recycling markets have changed recently due to the quality of materials. So now more than ever, it's important to be diligent about what we place in the recycling cart. The recycling industry needs our help. Here are a few handy rules to keep in mind as you try to determine what can be placed in your recycle bin. The first rule is pretty obvious. Don't place things that are not accepted by Recycle Minnesota. This would include items like batteries, clothing, electronics, foods, or liquids. It also includes wires, cables, hoses, and plastic bags, or as they call them, tanglers. These materials can get caught in the sorting machines, and it forces them to shut down the line until they are removed. The second rule is if the item is smaller than your fist, it can't be separated, which means it'll end up in the trash. Small items, like caps and lids, should either be left on the container or placed in your garbage. The third rule is no plastic bags or wraps. If you place your recycling in a plastic garbage bag, it has to be opened before it can be processed, which causes delays and a potential hiding spot for those pesky tanglers. Or it becomes a tangler itself. All recycling should be tossed in your recycling cart loose. And plastic bags and wraps can be brought to local retail stores for recycling. Speaking of plastics, I discovered not all plastics are accepted. Which leads us to the fourth rule. Most of the time, there'll be a number printed on the container telling you the type of plastic the container is made from. While there are 7 types of plastic, currently only those with a number 1 or number 2 are being accepted. So when you're done with your container, check the number to see if it's a 1 or 2. If it's not one of those numbers, throw it out. Rule number 5 deals with contamination, which is a huge problem and makes the product less desirable. Items should be clean, dry, and big enough to easily separate. Things like oily cardboard or dirty containers are not desired. Just remember these 3 words: empty, rinse, recycle. And this applies to all recyclable containers. Rule number 6. Leave most items in their original form. This assists the sorting machines to properly separate the items. So don't crush cans or containers, but cardboard boxes should be collapsed flat, but not crushed. At this point, rule number 7 should be a no-brainer. Although Recycle Minnesota will accept most paper items, things like newspapers and magazines, they can't sort shredded paper. That shredded waste should be placed in your garbage. Aww. So don't throw in things you hope to be recycled. That's called wish cycling. So recycle correctly by following the rules. Don't throw things in the bin that are not accepted by Recycle Minnesota. If it's smaller than your fist, it can't be separated, so throw it away. Absolutely no plastic bags or wraps. Remember, only number 1 or number 2 plastics are accepted. Don't forget to empty and rinse containers and keep them in their original form. And finally, don't place shredded paper in with the recycling. For more information on recycling, check out the Green Guide at farmingtonmn.gov/greenguide. Here you'll find all sorts of information on recycling.